morning and welcome back to the morning commute. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. We have, I don't know how accurate this is. It's not looking good, but it says it's 77 degrees. Man, that's already pretty warm for this time of day. It's just not even 6 o'clock. Oh man, look at this. We have here in front of us, what is that, like a 3-wheel push motor. Maybe it's like a pressure washer or something. Pretty cool little aluminum trailer with a mini plate, like a motorcycle plate. Somebody brings donuts today. I'm really hoping for some fresh donuts and a fresh cup of joe. Yesterday I went in and excuse me, I was early, so I ventured down the road to 32nd or 38th Street, and there's a drive-through Bosa there, so I picked up a plain glazed along with a stuffed croissant. It was the jalapeno and cheese and ham, but I didn't get any coffee there. I just got the sweets, pastries. And then for lunch we went and had burgers. We were craving them over the weekend, so we picked up a couple. And then today I'm not sure what's for lunch, but we will see. I wanted to make a quick video for you guys on how the whole well, I didn't do the starting part, but I did from midway to finish on the burrito prep. And if you get the frozen shredded potatoes, a can of Spam, and some tortillas that are pre-made, you can knock out a breakfast in about 15 minutes ish, maybe a little longer. But I like to start my potatoes real hard and high and put in some butter, and I usually start them on olive oil and then let them just continue cooking on their own heat while I go hop in the shower and get ready. And when I'm almost done getting ready, I toss in the eggs and prep the rolling station. I try not to forget the chili because it adds a little bit of excitement to it, because usually I get tired of the same old burrito. I was gonna try some chopped ham, but maybe tonight I'll prep that ham, chop it up into small pieces, and then I'll use that. But I need to pick up some puppy food or dog food on the way home because we're running low. Those little girls are home all by themselves in the morning till everybody gets up. So they basically run the house while everybody's asleep. So, saw that trooper cruise by. It's Trooper Tuesday here on the 10. Somebody's moving. That's a pretty tough looking APS truck, huh? It's got to go out into the There's definitely more traffic today. I'm not sure what's going on. It's later than my normal commute starting time, so that's definitely plays a part. Let's see if we can see what the Trooper Tuesday's doing. In the meantime, we'll check the news.
Remarkable how resilient consumer spending has been the past few years, even as consumer sentiment has been downbeat.
So do we not believe any surveys, including bank rates? Because we're just getting nothing but lies from consumers, it sounds like, Ted. But I thought this was really interesting because your findings show that less affluent homes are more likely to cut back. That makes sense. And that older folks are more likely to cut back than younger folks. But aren't older folks more affluent in general, right?
Yeah, it is kind of hard to square that one. One read on the generational stuff is that young adults are really prioritizing the experience. We've seen this especially since the pandemic, this kind of revenge spending on, we missed out for a while on travel, dining, concerts. I'm surprised that that trend has had several years to run, but that also is an indication of spending outpacing sentiment, because young people in particular are down on the economy. They're worried about student loans, they're worried about high housing costs, it's expensive to get married and have kids. A lot of people are kind of pushing back against that though and saying, well, at least I can go on the trip, or at least I can go out to a nice meal, or go to a music festival. Those are some of the trends we're seeing, especially among young adults. Consumer sentiment used to be more of a predictor. The University of Michigan, for example, has done a popular consumer sentiment survey for about 80 years, and this has often been viewed as a leading indicator on the economy. But really, ever since the pandemic, these things have moved in opposite directions. Sentiment has been bad. Actual economic data has mostly been more positive.
That is so interesting to me because, you look at the stock market and tariffs blew kind of everything out of the water there for a little while. We're still recovering from that. But people are, it seems like, in general, more downbeat, yet they're doing the opposite, you say, which is just weird to me.
Yeah, and Ted, we're talking about Ted Rossman, Bankrate's senior industry analyst, about their new survey that shows most Americans say they plan to cut back on their travel, their dining, and or their live entertainment spending this year. Colton told me that, bar and restaurant spending is up. So to me, that's a sign. Are we just drowning our sorrows, Ted?
There could be some of that. A lot of this is how people feel and what they're doing are different things. People are feeling bad, certainly about the tariff worries, but also the last several years with inflation, the job market has actually been good, and wage growth has been up 20% over the past 4 years. The unemployment rate is still low at a low fours number, but yet it doesn't feel good because inflation is gobbling up whatever gains you're making. That helps to explain the disconnect. People actually have more spending power than they realize, for the most part. I mean, I know sadly there are many households that are struggling, but in general, people probably have more money than they realize, but they feel like it's going to all these higher costs. It's also worth pointing out that higher income households always prop up spending, but especially lately, we're seeing about 50% of this spending coming from the top 10% of the income distribution. So that's another thing where many people do say they're cutting back, and many actually might be cutting back, but the overall numbers are rising. One other thing is that travel costs have actually come down, which is a good thing. We can't say that about many things, but airline fares are down 8% year over year. Hotel and rental cars down 2% according to the Consumer Price Index. So that's leading for a little bit of breathing room here.
Ted Rossman from Bankrate, the senior industry analyst at Bankrate, and we're saying one thing and doing another, which is so American somehow.
I know, right? Especially when it comes to spending, I think, totally.
Yeah.
All right, coming up in just moments, another very close call on a runway.
Not a nice thing. Let's hope there's no close calls on the roads. John Roller live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Well, thank you very much, LaDonna. Yeah, the troubles that we have had haven't been too bad this morning, but let's tack on another crash on the southbound side of I-17. This is just south of Bethany Home Road, right near Camelback, and it is blocking the left lanes. That means you've got some slowing if you're coming in to the downtown area on the southbound I-17. And that earlier stalled vehicle just south of the stack, that has been cleared away, so that's slowing south of the stack looking better. But we are seeing the slowing starting to build due to this crash on the southbound I-17. We'll keep an eye on that. Eastbound I-10, not bad at all. That earlier slowing at the 101 transition has cleared up, so only moderate slowing from 91st Avenue into the downtown area. Right now about 14-15 minutes on your right in. 67th Avenue and Indian School Road, look for a collision there and a crash at Mesa this morning at University Drive and Ellsworth. John Roller, KTAR News.
Sunny today, high of 99. Look for sunshine through most of the work week, but we're going to get over 100 and well above 100 by Thursday. Your weather is brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Weather replacer there, Howard Air and Plumbing.
It's Gatos, and I'm hanging out with Cynthia and Leo. 25 years married. They do everything together, including going to Aria Dental Implant Center. How did Aria change your life?
Aria Implant Center changed my life health-wise, my smile, enjoying food, and my confidence.
Leo, how's it changed your life?
It picked up my spirit. I look in the mirror, I feel younger. I can eat everything I want to eat. I got a little giddy.
President Trump has to convince two very different groups of Republicans to compromise and vote for the bill. In one corner, there are the hardliners. They want to partly pay for the tax breaks with cuts to Medicaid. They want to speed up work requirements for some Medicaid recipients and change the formula that determines how much the federal government pays states for Medicaid. In the opposite corner, moderate Republicans. They're worried their constituents would be kicked off of Medicaid. Blue state moderates want a cap on the deductibility of state and local taxes to be raised. The House Rules Committee has scheduled an unusual 1 a.m. hearing for tomorrow to consider changes to the bill. That's designed to tee the legislation up for a full House vote before Memorial Day. Once the bill finishes its long slog through the House, it heads to the Senate, which is expected to make its own changes. Some Republican senators have already said they won't vote for the House version. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all down in the 1 to 4/10% range. The Dow futures down 39 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is 4.49%. And that Treasury yield, of course, influences a lot of other interest rates in the economy. We saw it jump after Moody's downgraded the U.S. credit rating on Friday. And sure enough, that has trickled down to mortgage rates. The average 30-year mortgage rate hit 7.04% Monday, highest in more than a month.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Yubico, makers of the YubiKey, protecting the personal and business applications and accounts people.
All right, folks, this is a good time for a break. It was interesting following the trooper and then this unmarked SUV in front of us. So I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to hug and thank your loved ones for being a part of your life, and maybe go give them a hand if you get a chance. You know, we've got a lot of corn and beans coming up. Maybe you can stop by and do some hoeing for them or clean up around their house, something. We'll have a meal with them or drop off some coffee or something. Also, if you're in northern Arizona, be sure to stop by the Hopi Nation and check out Hopi Grounds Coffee. It's a small business with a beautiful view. You can Google them. They're atop the second mesa by just around a little west of the Shumopagi turnoff. And you guys have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, please. Thank you. Now, one more thing, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so we can continue to build our channel. We're struggling, I know it's hard to get a decent content, and we're trying to come up with some know what you want to see. All right, take care.